Blasphemi is back. Our 426-based Hemi and a 55 Chevy has been with us since season 1 of Roadkill. Can you even believe that?
Has it been that long?
It has been that long, and I haven't seen it in, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, and a whole bunch of stuff has changed. Here's our plan. We're gonna start here at Wild Horse Motorsports Park in Chandler, Arizona, make some passes, I guess tune on it, figure out what's gone wrong. And then we're gonna road trip the thing to San Diego, California, right along the border. We have to change the supercharger at a dyno shop, tune it up to make it quicker, then road trip it to Famoso drag strip, which is outside of Bakersfield, California, where my own Model A called the F-Rod will be sitting there. And my Model A has gone 8.501 in the quarter mile.
This car's never been that fast. It ran a bunch of 60s in Vegas, but since then it's pretty much been broken. And currently that supercharger is wore out, which is why I ordered a blower and sent it ahead of us, hoping that we can pick up power. The car got heavier over the last couple of years because I got tired of, say, the fiberglass trunk lid blowing off.
I remember that.
So it has a steel trunk lid on it now, which is way heavier than I thought it would be. So I got rid of 19 pounds of battery cable by moving the battery up front.
Really?
Yeah. And that battery was over here, but then I was having oil pressure issues with it. Every time I pulled the parachute, I'd lose all the oil pressure. So everything is different. The motor plates, the oiling system, the fuel system, the electrical system. The blower, though, is the same blower from 2019, and I'm pretty sure it's wore out.
Was it on the 85 when you won Drag Week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But these headers are different.
These are slightly bigger.
When was the last time this road tripped successfully?
2019.
Okay. I was doing the nut and bolt check underneath the car, and I found a couple things that needed to be snugged. It wasn't that bad. However, I've spotted a really bad thing about tire clearance. Mike had the rear end narrowed, and unfortunately, with these different wheels, they're too far inboard and they're hitting the inner wheel well.
So before this car went on the chassis dyno last week, I switched wheels, and I thought, oh, they clear the inner fenders just fine. They're not. They hit the inner fender bad.
Well, that was painful to watch, but it's probably gonna save disaster.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with it.
All right, way better clearance. It's still gonna tag it a little bit, but it's not gonna cut the tire. We've gotten through our safety checks and we're ready to go. Put it on track for the first time. You gonna go all out or you gonna take it easy first time down?
Nah, you know me, I'm just gonna go.
Okay. Yeah, he'll lift when it gets ugly.
Oh, this is exciting. I have not driven down any drag strip in this car in over a year.
For the first pass in Blasphemi in a long time. A ton of stuff has changed on the car. Different throttle body, different injectors, coil on plug ignition, dry sump, different clutch, different transmission, different rear tires. See what happens.
That was fun.
Tires are brand new, so we gave them a little bit of extra heat. It's typically a good process for a fresh out-of-the-box tire.
All right, getting ready to roll into the beams. We're pre-staged. Now we're staged. Okay, a lot of cowbell. It did not hook.
You can see the tire bounced pretty good.
Yeah, that's the same two-step I've always used, so I could turn the two-step down if I had the laptop. Wow, it hasn't spun like that in a long time.
Thinking it through, the 6-speed has a much lower first gear than your G-Force did. He's got the computer out. We're looking at the data, just what happened to make sure that the 2-step rev limiter was set where it needed to be.
There we go. All right, burnout number 2. We've lowered the rev limiter. Let's try this again. No, just smoke the tires again.
So it smashes, but the whole rear end of the car is squatting. It's not separating. That is fairly low tire pressure. Here's what's going on. You saw our first 2 hits, the thing spun the tires real bad. The first time it actually hopped the tire off the ground. Looking at the data, we're realizing that the camshaft was advanced a lot versus the last time you ran this thing. And he just told me that it's making more boost down low than it did on the dyno, which is unusual. So it's making a lot more power, so he's having trouble hooking it up with his old combo. Right now I'm checking tire pressure, which is below 12. Mike contacted Pete Harrell, his engine guy and tuner, and sent him the file out of the computer, the tune-up on the car, and he went ahead and pulled some ignition timing down low to take some power out of the car so that it would launch. Sun's going down, we're about to run out of track time. The folks at Wild Horse at Bradford Driving School have been super cool to us, and they gave us some more time. So it's a nice, cool evening now after everything that we changed, which includes the tune-up, the shock settings, the tire pressure, and new spark plugs. So let's give this a shot.
Okay, here we go. Pre-staged, staged.
Well, finally got down track. That was a 10:09 at 146 miles an hour. The mile an hour tells you that the car should be way faster. That's a very slow ET for the mile an hour. It didn't fully hook, and he hit the rev limiter in first, and he obviously was granny shifting the thing, but we're headed the right direction. I think he'll probably come back and give it another shot, kind of as is. 10:09, 146.
Okay.
146 is okay.
I short shifted one gear, hit the rev limiter, another one. I was a mess.
Yeah.
Now we're getting somewhere. I know it wasn't fast and it really wasn't pretty, but I learned a lot. The problem with using the clutch when you shift is every time you use the clutch, it restarts the launch process over and pulls ignition timing out of it about 9 degrees. So you clutch, it pulls 9 degrees, then the motor's trying to accelerate with only like 17 degrees of timing in it. It's not accelerating as hard as it could. So for this pass, I've lowered the launch RPM another 200, and then we just pulled another ½ degree of timing out of it for the first second of the run. Hopefully that makes it stick. Hopefully I can remember not to use the clutch and not granny shift, hit my shift points, and go much faster down this drag strip.
Ah! He's using the clutch.
That was better, but it went left. I guarantee the 60-foot was better on that one.
Well, that was cool and violent. It left pretty hard, but man, this thing goes left like mad. Unfortunately, it seems to me like he was stepping on the clutch again. When he does that, it reactivates the ignition retard for the launch. So I think he just needs to figure out how to shift it without the clutch.
Curious what the 60-foot was, because it was way happier.
Oh yeah, it was way better, although you went hard left.
Yeah.
That's like a ladder bar adjustment.
Yeah.
Or a real tire pressure problem or a brake dragging.
We have a little bit of time left. I'd like to make one more pass, at least down the drag strip, to find out, you know, where we're at in terms of this car's performance.
Well, that was the best run of the night, 9.805 at 148.79, but the 60-foot was 181. So
Yeah, I don't know why it spun so bad that time.
it was really bad.
And I suck at driving right now, so
Drive to the hotel, as is, slicks, open headers.
sure,
Let's do it.
let's party.
We made it. Blasphemi drove all the way from Chandler, Arizona to here, Famoso drag strip north of Bakersfield, California. Well, normally we rent the track, but this time we were invited to Hot Rod Garage Day. Hot Rod Garage is another show on the MotorTrend network, and once a year, they rent the track themselves and invite friends and family. So you're gonna see like 40 cars here, some of which are the Hot Rod Garage project vehicles. And they are gonna have a pause in the program so Finnegan and I can run side by side. So now we're here ready for the setup of Blasphemi versus my fraud, my 31 Model A Coupe. So this is gonna be good. We're prepping Finnegan's car right now. My car doesn't need a whole lot. My buddy Sam is here, who built the whole chassis on the thing. He's sort of handling the wrenching on the side. I'm gonna help Finnegan move over from street mode to race mode.
On the first day of this trip, we went to a drag strip and properly broke in a brand new set of Mickey Thompsons, but we also broke them. the inside of both tires were rubbing the inner fenders of the car, which is probably what caused it to go left every time I let the clutch out. And so we're switching tires. I now have a fresh set to put on, and fresh tires need to be broken. They're never as quick ET-wise as, you know, ones that have been broke in. And the fresh set is also smaller. They are not as wide as the ones that were on the car, so I'll have a little less traction.
So for this first run, I'm just gonna let the clutch out and just cross my fingers it goes straight. If it goes straight, I'm happy. Then we'll work on the rest of it after. That was my first burnout across the starting line ever. Oh, that was so fun.
Finnegan's here for his very first hit. He's got the larger blower pulley on it, not the 1100 horsepower tune, but probably like the 1050 horsepower tune.
Okay, that was bad. Everything was going really well until I missed fourth gear.
Finnegan made his first pass, and it was a non-ET because it looked like the driver's door flew open. So that's going to be a big pucker. That was interesting. You missed fourth, and then someone said, no, his door flew open. He lifted. Which one happened?
Oh, both.
Both.
Both things happened. Yeah, I've never missed fourth. That was a new adventure for me. It was going so well. I was like, yeah. Oh. No.
So you cut an 065 light, not bad. 135, 60-foot time. So you want to go back and make another hit before they break for lunch?
I can't guarantee I'll get it right, but yeah, I want to go.
Cool, let's go. At least we don't have to pack a chute. That was better, 889 at 153 miles an hour. Now remember, this car's best ever is 852. His 60-foot was 1345. So pretty good. Now we're gonna take a quick break, probably fiddle with the car a little bit more. I'm guessing he's gonna want to put a smaller pulley on it. And we'll find out if he can do quicker than that.
889, 153.
Oh, and the little pulley. Oh, dude. We're gonna have a good race.
This is my 31 Ford Model A that's gonna be running against Finnegan. You've never seen this car on Roadkill. It was built entirely on Roadkill Garage by my buddy Sam, who you'll see in the background, like helping me out with this thing, and also by Steve Dulcich and myself, and the engine by my buddy James Bostic. It's a 31 Ford Model A. It weighs 2,450 pounds. The engine is a 572 big block Chevy. It's actually the same heads, crank rods block that I used at Bonneville to run my fastest time ever. This thing has been 261 miles an hour at Bonneville. It makes 950 horsepower. It's got a Gearstar Power Glide, Mosier 9-inch, 410 gears, 31-inch rear slick from Mickey Thompson. So when you put that much power with this much lightness, you get a best ever ET right here at Famoso of 8.501 seconds at 151 miles an hour. Maybe it went 155 on that one. Here's what makes this race actually personal for me. Finnegan has supercharger, EFI, like strain gauge on the shifter, I think, all sorts of rocket science. I went exactly the opposite direction. This has no power adder. It's carbureted. It doesn't even have an electric fuel pump. It's a mechanical fuel pump. So even though they're both retro-looking cars, this is very much like new technology with boost versus old technology, all motor. The time has finally come.
Yes.
Make it 3 yards, my friend, and we'll have ourselves an automobile race. Boom. Head to head, you've been waiting for it. Blasphemi versus the F-Rod.
Good luck.
I need it.
Special guest host Steve Dulcich here for the battle of the Roadkill host. Who's gonna come out on top? I'm gonna be watching the action along with you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are off to the races. This is gonna gonna be epic. 2 8-second roadkill cars lighting it up for the honor of the fastest car on roadkill.
Here we go.
.73 at 150 miles an hour. Finnegan, however, had some kind of problem off the starting line.
All right, well, that didn't work. It just blew the tires off at the starting line. I feel like my brakes are dragging.
Something went wrong. Well, I don't know what just happened, but it wasn't good for Mike.
A couple of things were wrong with it when you took off.
I kept letting on and off the clutch, and the car didn't really want to move. And I went to the starting line. When it's time to go, I let the clutch out, and it just barbecued the tires. It didn't go anywhere.
Huh. My car was a turd too, 872 at 150, and I red lit, so you won.
872 is not a turd.
Just to give you the numbers here, Mike cut an 033 light, I red lit by 025. 2060 foot, 123. Your 8th mile time, I mean, you were just coasting at that point. So,
Want to do it again?
what are we gonna do? How are you gonna fix your car?
I'm gonna take some compression out of the back shocks.
And I just found out I can't let go of the button as soon as I see the last amber.
Wow! What a burnout!
Woo! That was a pass.
The trans brake didn't engage the first time. Oh, that was a bummer.